Kale's starship cut through the endless black of the simulation arena, neon streaks of light from distant stars reflecting on the polished panels of his cockpit. The hum of the engines was almost soothing, but his focus remained razor-sharp. Today was the opening round of the Interstellar Simulation Tournament, a test not of speed or firepower alone, but of human ingenuity against the galaxy's most advanced species. The arena was vast, a floating holographic field that could stretch for light years if needed, although for humans, it felt like a room in space. Aliens of all shapes and sizes zipped past in their ships, each trying to anticipate their opponent's moves. Kale adjusted the controls instinctively, sliding his ship through a narrow gap between two hovering asteroids. The alien competitors' ships followed patterns that were mathematically precise, almost robotic. But Kale had a secret advantage: humans were unpredictable. "Why do you always do that?" A voice crackled in his comms. Kale glanced at the display. It was Valara, the pilot from the other human colony on Zendar Prime. She had been his rival for years, though they had rarely spoken outside of competitions. Her smirk seemed to radiate through the screen. "Stop pretending. You don't want this as badly as I do." Kale shook his head and smiled faintly. "You mean the tournament? Or the glory?" His fingers danced over the controls, initiating a risky maneuver that would loop his ship around a spinning asteroid and into the path of another alien pilot. Valara laughed. "Both. Don't act like you're not here to win. You were born to do this, Kale." Kale's heart rate picked up. The arena was dangerous, but it was precisely this danger that humans thrived on. The alien pilots relied on their AI to predict moves, to calculate exact trajectories. Humans relied on instinct, imagination, and sometimes a touch of recklessness. That unpredictability had saved him more times than he could count. The asteroid spun faster, and Kale timed his jump perfectly, rolling his ship around it and slingshotting past an alien craft that had predicted he would take the opposite path. Sparks flew from the other ship as it miscalculated and slammed into the asteroid, eliminating itself from the round. Kale's grin widened. That was human thinking, unexpected, wild, and clever. Valara's ship appeared alongside his, moving in sync for a moment as if she were mirroring his thoughts. "Not bad," she said. "But I'm just getting started." Kale tightened his grip on the controls. He respected Valara. She was brilliant, fast, and always 2 steps ahead. But that was exactly why he loved competing against her. Humans thrived on rivalry. And as getting, it brought out the best in them. It forced them to think beyond the rules, beyond logic, and into creativity. As the round progressed, the arena's environment shifted. Holographic walls sprang up, forming mazes and tunnels. Nebulas formed clouds of energy, interfering with sensors and communications. The alien pilots faltered first. Their AI systems struggled to adapt to patterns that were chaotic, irregular, and completely human in their unpredictability. Kale's hands moved without thought, weaving through the obstacles as if the ship were an extension of his body. Suddenly, a warning flashed on his console. A massive asteroid was approaching from the left at an impossible speed. The trajectory was calculated precisely by the AI. But Kale had no time to calculate. He relied on instinct, banking hard to the right, then firing the ship's thrusters in short bursts to dodge a collision. The asteroid zoomed past, missing him by mere meters, and Kale's stomach lurched in both fear and exhilaration. He could almost hear the alien's AI systems recalculating, trying to comprehend his unpredictable path. Valara's voice cut through the tension. "Nice move. I didn't think you'd risk that." Kale chuckled. "Humans don't play it safe." She let out a short laugh, almost a growl. "I like that about you." Before Kale could respond, the arena changed again. This time, energy fields formed massive walls that blocked the path ahead. There was only one narrow gap between them, a space so tight that even the most precise ships risked scraping the edges. Kale's mind raced. The obvious choice was to slow down, but that would give the alien pilots the advantage. Humans were fastest when they trusted their instincts. Kale gritted his teeth and pushed his ship forward, sliding through the gap with barely a centimeter to spare. Sparks flew as the hull scraped the edges, and his console flashed multiple warnings. But Kale didn't care. He had done it. Valara's voice sounded almost impressed. "I thought you'd fail that one." "Impressive." Kale smirked, breathing heavily. "It's just the first round." The arena's light shifted again, signaling the final phase of the match. The last remaining pilots were closing in on each other, and the AI-controlled aliens had learned from earlier rounds. They were faster now, predicting more than ever before. Kale's heart pounded. This was the moment humans could show their edge. It wasn't raw speed. It wasn't raw firepower. It was creativity, courage, and adaptability, the traits that made humans special. Kale's mind raced through dozens of potential strategies, and then he saw it. A narrow asteroid belt formed a path that no one would dare take. The aliens wouldn't attempt it because it was too risky. But humans thrived on risk. Kale fired a burst of thrusters, weaving through the jagged rocks at impossible angles, his ship almost grazing the edges. Sparks flew, and alarms blared. But Kale pushed forward, trusting his instincts. Behind him, Valara mirrored his path, almost effortlessly. "I knew you'd take it," she said. "You can't resist a challenge." Kale couldn't help but grin. "Neither can you." Together, they emerged on the other side, leaving the alien pilots behind, who either crashed or hesitated too long, and were eliminated. The human duo had done the impossible. They had turned chaos into an advantage, outsmarting opponents who had relied on technology alone. The scoreboard flashed. Kale and Valara had advanced to the next round. Kale exhaled, leaning back in his seat. He glanced at Valara's ship on the display. She was smiling, her eyes glinting with excitement. "Next round," she said, "is going to be even harder. Are you ready?" Kale nodded. "Always. Humans don't back down." The two shared a brief silence, the hum of their engines filling the space between them. They weren't friends, not yet, but there was a mutual understanding. They were humans, and humans thrived when pushed to the edge. Their species had survived against odds that no alien could comprehend. Not because of strength or speed, but because of creativity, courage, and a refusal to follow predictable patterns. As the arena reset for the next round, Kale knew one thing with absolute certainty. Whatever lay ahead, humans would adapt. Humans would survive. Humans would excel. And perhaps, if he and Valara kept pushing each other, humans would redefine what it meant to be unstoppable in the galaxy. The comms crackled again, breaking his thoughts. "Ready for the real challenge?" Quote. Valara's voice was teasing, but her eyes told a different story. Excitement, determination, and the same fearless spark that burned in Kale. Kale smiled, gripping the controls. "Let's show them what humans can do." And with that, the human pilots raced into the next round, against the galaxy's best, armed with nothing but instinct, courage, and the unshakable human drive to win. The arena reset, and the holographic field expanded into a new formation, this time a twisting labyrinth of energy barriers, floating debris, and shifting light zones. Kale's ship hovered at the starting line, engines humming. As he studied the new layout, he could see the other pilots, both alien and human, sizing up the course with cold calculation. The aliens were precise, their movements methodical. Humans like Kale and Valara, unpredictable. Valara's ship appeared beside him, her image flickering in the display. "This one looks tricky," she said. Her voice carried both amusement and challenge. "Think we'll make it through together, or will one of us crash first?" Kale smirked. "We'll see. Humans don't quit." The signal sounded, and the pilots surged forward. The labyrinth seemed designed to confuse, with pathways that curved and twisted, sometimes ending in dead ends or collapsing holographic walls. Alien pilots hesitated, scanning their navigation systems for safe routes, but Kale and Valara relied on something different, the human instinct, to sense patterns where none seemed to exist. Kale banked sharply, using his ship's thrusters to glide between two floating debris clusters. Humans thrived in risk. Hesitation could kill in the arena, and Kale had learned to trust his reflexes. Behind him, Valara mirrored his maneuvers almost perfectly. "Not bad," she said, her voice tinged with admiration. "You've got a good eye for danger." Kale grinned. "And you've got the guts to follow it." They pushed deeper into the labyrinth. The arena changed dynamically now, walls appearing and disappearing at random, forcing pilots to adapt instantly. Alien ships crashed against energy barriers, their AI unable to account for human unpredictability. Kale and Valara zipped past, taking narrow gaps that seemed impossible, relying on quick calculations and split-second decisions. Suddenly, the arena shifted again. A series of rotating laser grids cut through the paths ahead. Alien pilots stopped, unsure how to proceed, while Kale's heart raced with excitement. Humans were different. Where others saw danger, they saw opportunity. Kale adjusted the ship's angle and timed his thrusters with precision. He slid through the first grid, narrowly avoiding the deadly beams. Then, the second. Then, the third. Each movement was instinctive, a blend of training and raw human intuition. Valara followed, her ship glowing with energy shields as she navigated the grids. "You're pushing too hard," she warned. "One mistake, and..." Kale cut in, laughing. "One mistake? Humans learn from mistakes." They emerged from the laser grids, slightly scorched but intact. Kale's pulse was racing. The thrill of challenge, the risk of failure, and the satisfaction of success, it was addictive. It wasn't just winning. It was surviving, adapting, and excelling under pressure. That was what humans did best. The next obstacle was even more daunting. A field of spinning energy spheres blocked the path, each moving at different speeds and directions. Alien pilots froze, attempting to calculate safe paths. Kale leaned forward, studying the rhythm of the spheres. It was chaotic, but there was a pattern hidden within the chaos. Humans could sense it instinctively. Kale took a deep breath and guided his ship forward, weaving between spheres with almost impossible timing. Sparks flew as a near collision grazed his hull, but he adjusted instantly. Behind him, Valara followed, her trust in Kale's instincts evident in her movements. Together, they were untouchable. Suddenly, the arena flashed red. A warning signal blared. An unexpected threat had entered the field. Kale's sensors picked up a massive alien warship entering the simulation zone. Its weapons systems active. The other pilots scattered in panic. This was not part of the tournament, it was a test, or perhaps a trap. Kale gritted his teeth. "Looks like we're about to learn why humans survive." Valara's voice sounded steady. "We adapt. Always." The warship fired energy pulses, slicing through the labyrinth. Alien pilots faltered, unable to respond to the unpredictable human movements. Kale and Valara ducked and weaved, using the environment to their advantage. Energy barriers became shields. Debris clusters became cover. They weren't just piloting ships, they were dancing with the arena, exploiting every opportunity. Kale spotted a narrow opening beneath the warship. "Follow me," he said. He shot the ship downward, sliding beneath the massive hull. The warship's targeting systems recalculated, but humans moved too unpredictably. Kale fired a pulse disruptor, a device designed to scramble sensors. The warship wavered, its attacks losing precision. Valara followed, her own disruptor, firing in tandem. The two humans coordinated instinctively, a dance of improvisation and strategy that no alien AI could predict. The warship faltered, then retreated, leaving the arena for now. Kale exhaled, leaning back in his seat. Not bad for a warm-up. Valara chuckled. You're starting to scare me. Kale smiled. Good. That's the point. The arena stabilized, and the holographic maze reformed into a new challenge. This time, it was a race through a field of unstable energy zones. Each zone pulsed with unpredictable intensity, threatening to fry a ship that lingered too long. Alien pilots hesitated, their AI unable to adapt to the human-like creativity required. Kale and Valara surged forward. Kale's mind raced. Each energy zone had a rhythm, but it was not perfect. Humans could sense slight variations, small shifts that AI could not detect. He timed his thrusts and turns perfectly, guiding his ship through the field like a seasoned dancer. Sparks flew. Alarms blared. But Kale didn't slow. Valara followed closely, trusting Kale's instincts. I almost missed that turn, she said. Kale laughed. Almost is good. Means we survived. They emerged on the other side, battered but victorious. The scoreboard confirmed it. Kale and Valara were still in the lead. Alien pilots had been eliminated, unable to match human adaptability. Kale glanced at Valara. We make a good team. She smirked. Don't get used to it. I'm still trying to beat you. Kale laughed, shaking his head. Good luck with that. As the arena reset for the next round, Kale realized something important. The tournament was more than a test of speed or skill, it was a test of human spirit. Humans had survived against impossible odds, adapted to harsh environments, and thrived where others could not. Today was no different. Humans would survive this challenge too. Not just because of technology, but because of creativity, courage, and the willingness to take risks no one else would. The next round loomed ahead, even more complex and dangerous. Kale could feel it in his bones. But he was ready. Humans had a way of turning the impossible into the possible, and Kale intended to show the galaxy just how unstoppable they could be. Valara's voice came through the comms again. Ready for the next round? Kale smiled, gripping the controls tightly. Always. Humans don't give up. And with that, the two pilots surged forward, weaving through chaos, dodging danger, and proving that human ingenuity and courage could overcome any challenge the galaxy threw at them. Kale's ship cut through the shifting holographic maze of the arena, the glow of the energy walls reflecting on the polished metal panels. He had faced chaos before, had danced through impossible turns, and had survived alien attacks. But something about this new challenge felt different. It wasn't just the tournament anymore. The signal alerts on his dashboard were constant, indicating that another force had entered the simulation, one that was not part of the competition. Kyle. Valara's voice sounded tense, almost unusually calm for her. We've got company. Sensors are picking up multiple unidentified ships. They're moving fast, and they're not following the rules of the arena. Kale's stomach tightened. Alien fleets were common threats, but no one expected them to appear inside a controlled tournament. This was serious. The humans were now facing a real test, one that would separate instinct from fear, creativity from panic. Kale tightened his grip on the controls. Stay calm. Humans adapt. We'll figure this out. Well. Time. The unknown fleet appeared on the edge of the arena, massive ships with angular hulls, dark energy fields, and glowing weapons arrays. Unlike the previous alien pilots, these ships were coordinated, moving in perfect synchronization. Their numbers were enough to overwhelm any standard defense. The holographic arena became a trap, turning against the humans with every new movement of the invaders. Valara's ship raced beside Kale's. We can't take them head-on. Their firepower will destroy us in seconds. Kale nodded. Then we don't fight them the normal way. Humans don't fight like that. We fight smart. We fight clever. The two pilots surveyed the arena. Holographic walls, floating debris, and energy grids could be turned into defensive barriers. Alien ships, no matter how advanced, had rigid attack patterns. Humans, on the other hand, could improvise. Kale and Valara quickly began coordinating movements, signaling with hand gestures and short calm phrases. The first wave of energy blasts came, and Kale dodged instinctively, weaving between holographic barriers. Sparks flew as a blast, grazed his hull, leaving a small scorch mark but no serious damage. Valara mirrored him perfectly, sliding through narrow gaps that the alien targeting systems couldn't predict. "Keep moving," Kale shouted. "We can't let them corner us." They moved in perfect synchronization, luring the alien ships toward unstable zones of the arena. Energy grids pulsed, debris fields shifted, and holographic walls collapsed at just the right time. Alien ships collided with these obstacles, their precise calculations failing them repeatedly. Kale and Valara laughed, a mix of adrenaline and disbelief fueling their actions. "Humans are insane," Valara shouted. Though there was admiration in her voice, Kale grinned. Insane enough to survive, but the enemy adapted quickly. The massive ships recalculated their attack patterns, coordinating strikes to trap the humans in a tightening zone. Kale felt the pressure building. This was no longer just a tournament. This was survival, and failure was not an option. Kale's mind raced. He spotted a narrow channel between two massive floating asteroids. It was risky, barely wider than his ship, but it led to the center of the arena, where the energy fields were weakest. "Follow me," he commanded. Valara adjusted her course immediately, trusting his judgment. The two ships weaved through the channel with surgical precision. Laser blasts screamed past them, hitting the edges of the asteroids and exploding in showers of sparks. Kale's heart pounded as he slid through the final gap, barely escaping the alien fleet's attack. "Nice thinking," Valara said, her voice tinged with excitement. "You've got a knack for this." Kale smirked. "We've got a knack for this. Humans work best together." Once at the center, Kale noticed something important. The alien ships were focused on offense, leaving their flanks vulnerable. If he could draw them closer, he could use the environment to trap them. He whispered, almost to himself. Time to turn the tables. Kale fired a pulse disruptor into the arena's energy grid. The pulse destabilized several zones, causing energy walls to shift unpredictably. Alien ships were caught off guard, their movements erratic as they tried to dodge the sudden changes. Kale and Valara exploited this immediately, darting between shifting walls and drawing the enemy deeper into the maze. One of the massive ships tried to flank them from above, but Kale anticipated it. Using a series of sharp maneuvers, he positioned himself and Valara on either side of the ship, confusing its sensors. The alien vessel fired blindly, striking the arena's holographic walls instead of the human ships. Valara laughed with exhilaration. "I didn't know humans could be this clever." Kale grinned. "We've had practice surviving the impossible." The alien fleet continued to press, but Kale's strategy was working. They were falling into traps, crashing into debris, or hesitating too long in the shifting arena. The human instinct to improvise, adapt, and think creatively was proving far more effective than pure technological precision. Then, a massive energy surge hit the arena. The holographic walls flickered violently, and several smaller alien ships were caught in the unstable zones, exploding spectacularly. Kale felt the weight of relief and adrenaline. Humans didn't just survive, they could exploit danger to their advantage. Valara's ship glided beside him. "This is incredible," she said, her voice calm but excited. "I can't believe we're doing this." Kale nodded. "Humans never give up. That's why we survive." But the battle was not over. From the edge of the arena, the largest alien warship advanced, its weapons systems fully operational. It was a real threat, capable of destroying both Kale and Valara if they made a single mistake. Kale studied the ship. Its shields were strong, but the ship's movements were predictable. Humans thrived on unpredictability. If he could outthink it, even the largest enemy could be beaten. He gestured toward Valara. We split. Draw it into the unstable zones. Use everything the arena gives us. We split. Withers now. Withers noun welve. Withers noun welve. Withers noun welve. Valara nodded. Understood. Let's show them what humans can do. The two ships darted in opposite directions, the alien warship following Kale. Using every trick they had, the humans navigated the arena like shadows, weaving through debris, dodging energy blasts, and forcing the enemy into chaos. Kale fired another disruptor, causing an energy wall to collapse directly in the warship's path. The massive ship hesitated, its targeting systems scrambling. Valara seized the moment, firing a precision pulse that further destabilized the warship's systems. The enemy ship faltered, then reversed course. Kale and Valara regrouped, their ships side by side once again. The fleet's morale seemed shaken. Human creativity, courage, and teamwork had turned a near-impossible situation into an advantage. Kale exhaled, letting the tension leave his body. We did it, he said quietly. Valara nodded, her eyes reflecting the glowing arena. We survived, and we won. But Kale knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was full of challenges, and humans had only just begun to show their true strength. They had proven one thing today. No matter how advanced the enemy, no matter how well prepared they were, humans had a unique combination of courage, creativity, and adaptability that no alien technology could match. Kale looked at Valara. We make a good team, but the next challenge will be harder. Valara smirked. I wouldn't want it any other way. And as the arena shifted once again, resetting for the next phase of the tournament, Kale felt a surge of determination. Humans would continue to fight, to adapt, and to excel. They had faced the hidden threat and emerged victorious, proving that ingenuity, courage, and the refusal to follow predictable patterns made them unstoppable. The next round awaited, even more dangerous than before, but Kale and Valara were ready. Humans didn't just survive the galaxy, they thrived. And somewhere in the darkness, Kale could feel the galaxy watching, slowly learning that humans were not to be underestimated. The arena had never looked more hostile. Massive energy barriers rotated in chaotic patterns, floating debris shifted unpredictably, and holographic mazes seemed to change the moment Kale and Valara thought they understood the layout. But Kale's eyes were sharp, his instincts honed. Humans thrived in chaos. It was what made them special. This isn't just a tournament anymore, Valara said over the comms. They've made this a real battlefield. Kale nodded, his hands steady on the controls. Exactly what humans excel at. The alien forces had returned, far larger and more coordinated than before. Their warships advanced like predators, their weapons systems glowing with lethal intent. Alien pilots relied on precision and calculation, but humans relied on imagination, adaptability, and unpredictability qualities no AI could replicate. Kale's mind raced, scanning the arena for opportunities. The energy barriers were unstable. Some sections of debris were heavier than they appeared. Every part of the environment could be used to their advantage, but only if they acted quickly and decisively. Follow my lead, Kale said to Valara. We're going to draw them into the maze's center. That's where we have the advantage. Valara's ship moved in perfect synchronization with his. You're crazy, she said, though she smiled. But I like it. Kale fired a series of pulse disruptors, carefully timing them with the shifting barriers. Sparks erupted as alien ships miscalculated their paths, colliding with debris or slamming into energy walls. The larger warships hesitated, their targeting systems recalculating endlessly. Humans could improvise. Aliens could only follow preset logic. KL weaved his ship through the gaps, skimming close to a floating energy pillar. The pillar was unstable, but KL had calculated that its collapse would create a temporary barrier. He nudged his thrusters, and the pillar fell, blocking a group of pursuing alien ships. Valara followed immediately, mirroring his movement and taking advantage of the barrier. "I see what you're doing," she shouted. "You're turning their strength into weakness." KL grinned. "Exactly. Humans don't just fight, they outthink." The alien fleet adjusted, attempting to flank them, but KL had anticipated it. He guided his ship through a narrow corridor lined with holographic walls that flickered unpredictably. The walls created blind spots, confusing the alien targeting systems. Valara zipped beside him, taking advantage of the same paths. The humans were fast, clever, and unpredictable, the perfect combination. Kael spotted a weak point. A massive warship had become isolated from the main fleet, its shields weakened by previous collisions and miscalculations. "Valara, we take that one first," he said. "We hit hard. We hit fast." Valara nodded. "On your signal." Kael waited for the perfect moment. Then, in a coordinated move, they unleashed a combination of pulse disruptors and precision energy blasts. The isolated warship faltered, its shields flickering, then exploded in a controlled chain reaction. The other aliens hesitated. They had expected predictable humans, not tactical brilliance. Kael and Valara were no longer just surviving, they were dominating. "Humans are unstoppable when we work together," Kael said, feeling a surge of pride. Valara smiled, her eyes reflecting the glowing arena. "We're rewriting the rules." The arena shifted again, this time forming a massive central chamber filled with moving obstacles and energy fields. The alien fleet regrouped, now wary of human tactics. They attacked with precision, trying to corner the humans, but Kael and Valara were always one step ahead. Kael's mind moved faster than the sensors could process. He noticed subtle weaknesses in the arena's structure. Certain energy fields could be destabilized, floating debris could be redirected, and narrow gaps could be used as traps. Every obstacle could be a weapon if humans thought creatively. "Follow me," he said. "We turn this battlefield into our advantage." Kael darted between two massive energy grids, his ship skimming close enough for the sensors to detect, but not react in time. Valara followed, trusting his instinct. Together, they led the alien ships into a trap. As the enemy advanced, Kael fired disruptors at precise points, causing energy barriers to collapse on the alien ships. Sparks and explosions filled the chamber as several ships were immobilized or destroyed. The remaining alien vessels tried to retreat, but Kael anticipated every move. He guided his ship to the arena's edge, where unstable debris created a narrow corridor. The aliens followed, and Kael triggered another pulse disruptor. Debris shifted violently, blocking the path and trapping multiple ships. Valara let out a laugh of exhilaration. "This is insane! They didn't expect this!" Kael smiled. Humans are full of surprises. The final wave of alien warships advanced cautiously, but Kael had already predicted their pattern. Using every tool and trick the arena offered, he and Valara moved as one, a perfect combination of intuition and strategy. Energy barriers fell at precise moments, debris redirected toward enemy ships, and pulse disruptors scrambled their targeting systems. One by one, the alien ships faltered, collided, or were eliminated. The scoreboard flashed. Kael and Valara had survived the wave. Humans had not only defended themselves, they had outsmarted a technologically superior enemy. The crowd, both in the arena and across holographic broadcasts throughout the galaxy, erupted in astonishment. Valara turned to Kael. "I can't believe it. We actually did it." Kael shook his head, grinning. "We didn't just survive. We turned the impossible into an advantage. That's what humans do. The arena's central chamber settled into a calm glow, a stark contrast to the chaos that had just unfolded. Kael and Valara hovered in place, catching their breath. The aliens were still formidable, but the humans had proven that intelligence, creativity, and courage could overcome raw firepower. Kael looked at the scoreboard again. We're still in the tournament, but more importantly, we've shown them who we are. Valara's eyes sparkled. Humans. Creative, fearless, unstoppable. Kael nodded. And this is just the beginning. As the arena reset, forming a new configuration of obstacles, Kael realized the truth. The galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. Aliens relied on calculations, strategy, and technology. But humans relied on something deeper. Instinct, ingenuity, courage. And when those qualities combined, humans could survive and thrive against any odds. Next round, Kael said, gripping his controls tightly, we take it even further. Humans don't just compete, we redefine what it means to win. Valara nodded, determination in her eyes. Let's show them the full power of human creativity. And as they surged forward into the next challenge, Kael and Valara knew one thing with absolute certainty. Humans would not only survive the galaxy's trials, they would rise, adapt, and dominate. The universe had underestimated them, and it was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. Because humans didn't just react, they innovated. They didn't just survive, they thrived. And in the arena of the galaxy, nothing could match their courage, intelligence, and will to rise above any challenge. The arena glowed with shifting patterns, a final challenge waiting for Kael and Valara. This round was different. No other human pilots remained, and the alien forces had learned from previous encounters. Their ships moved with precision, targeting systems fully operational, predicting almost everything. The odds were stacked, yet Kael felt no fear. Humans had survived impossible odds before. They would do it again. Valara's ship hovered beside his. This is it, she said. Her eyes reflected both excitement and tension. The final test. Are you ready? Kael tightened his grip on the controls. Always. Humans don't just survive. They rise. The arena shifted violently as the signal sounded, releasing dozens of advanced alien warships. Massive energy barriers emerged, rotating at dizzying speeds. Floating debris formed complex mazes, and the floor of the arena seemed to ripple with energy pulses that could destroy a ship instantly if miscalculated. It was chaos designed to break even the most skilled pilots. But Kael and Valara thrived in chaos. They had survived every obstacle so far. Their coordination had become instinctive, their trust in each other absolute. Humans were unpredictable in ways no AI could account for, and today they would prove it. The first wave of attacks came. Laser beams cut through the maze, narrowly missing Kael's ship. Alien warships advanced in perfect synchronization, attempting to trap him and Valara in the center of the arena. But Kael had seen patterns before, subtle rhythms hidden within chaos. He adjusted his trajectory, weaving through rotating barriers and dodging pulses with fluid precision. Valara followed, trusting Kael's instincts completely. Kael smiled. Humans don't just survive, we adapt. The alien fleet pressed harder. Their attacks were faster, more coordinated, and more deadly than ever. But Kael and Valara turned their environment into an advantage. Unstable energy fields became shields. Floating debris became traps. Narrow gaps in the arena became corridors for ambushes. Every obstacle was a tool, and every risk was a calculated advantage. Kael fired a pulse disruptor at the leading alien warship, destabilizing its targeting systems. Valara followed with a precision blast that struck the ship's energy core, sending it spinning into a wall of collapsing barriers. Sparks and energy beams filled the arena, but Kael and Valara moved as one, their ships perfectly synchronized. The remaining alien ships hesitated, recalculating their approach. They had underestimated humans before, but now they faced pilots who had turned unpredictability into strategy. Humans didn't just fight, they outthought, outmaneuvered, and outlasted their opponents. Kale saw an opening. A narrow corridor led directly to the heart of the arena, where energy barriers formed a trap for anyone following too closely. "Follow me," he commanded. Valara nodded, accelerating beside him. They darted through the corridor, the alien ships in pursuit. KL timed it perfectly at the last moment. He fired another disruptor, causing the energy barriers to collapse and trap multiple enemy ships in a dead end. Valara let out a laugh of exhilaration. "You're impossible to predict!" Kale smirked. That's the human advantage. The alien forces were shrinking rapidly. Their numbers had been formidable at the start, but now the ingenuity, courage, and instinct of two humans had turned the tide. Every remaining ship faltered, hesitated, or collided with the obstacles the humans had manipulated. The arena itself became a tool in Kale and Valara's hands. Suddenly, the largest alien warship, a colossal vessel with shields stronger than any other, emerged from the shadows. It fired a massive energy beam aimed directly at KL. The ship was powerful, calculated, and deadly. But KL had anticipated this. "Valara," he said, "this is it. We need to finish it together." Valara nodded. "Let's do it." KL guided his ship beneath the warship, skimming close to its massive hull. He fired a series of pulse disruptors aimed at the ship's shield generators. Sparks erupted along the alien ship's surface as the shields flickered. Valara moved in sync, her ship attacking another section of the hull. The alien vessel tried to adjust, but humans were unpredictable. Every movement was unexpected, every strategy fluid. KL and Valara exploited every weakness, dodging beams, weaving through barriers, and striking with precision. The colossal warship shuddered under their coordinated attacks. Finally, a critical energy node on the alien ship's hull exposed itself. KL seized the opportunity. "Now!" he shouted. Both humans fired together. The node exploded in a brilliant flash of light, sending shockwaves through the arena. The warship faltered, then collapsed into a pile of floating debris. The remaining alien ships, seeing their leader defeated, retreated rapidly, their formations breaking apart. Kale and Valara hovered in the center of the arena, their ships battered but functional. The scoreboard flashed. Humans had won. Against impossible odds, humans had prevailed. Valara let out a laugh of disbelief. We actually did it." Kale smiled, letting the tension slip from his shoulders. "Humans never give up. We adapt. We think. We fight smarter. That's why we survive." The arena's systems reset, and the final holographic displays showed applause from every corner of the galaxy. For the first time, humans had proven themselves not just capable, but superior in creativity and courage against the galaxy's most advanced forces. Valara turned to Kale. "You know, we make a good team. Maybe the galaxy should watch out for humans." Kale chuckled. "They already are. They just don't realize it yet." In the post-battle debrief, human leaders congratulated Kale and Valara. Their actions had not only won the tournament but had also earned the respect of alien civilizations. Humans had shown that technology alone could not predict or overcome instinct, courage, and ingenuity. Kale looked out at the arena, now calm and still. He thought about the journey, the first risky maneuvers, the improvised strategies, the trust between him and Valara, and the determination to survive. Humans had faced chaos, danger, and superior forces and had come out victorious. Valara's voice broke through his thoughts. "So, what's next?" Kale smiled, feeling the thrill of possibility. "Next, we keep proving ourselves. Humans don't stop at survival. We adapt, we innovate, and we rise. That's who we are. Ride, ride. And with that, Kale and Valara prepared for the next challenge. Knowing that humanity had earned a place in the galaxy, not just as survivors, but as innovators, thinkers, and leaders. Humans had not only faced the impossible, they had conquered it. As the stars stretched endlessly beyond the arena, Kale thought about the future. There would always be stronger enemies, harder challenges, and unknown dangers. But humans would face them all with courage, creativity, and unbreakable determination. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, but it would never make that mistake again. Kale glanced at Valara. We showed them what humans can do. The universe just learned a lesson. Valara nodded, a smile on her face. And it's just the beginning. The two pilots soared through the final holographic corridor, engines glowing bright, leaving behind the wreckage of defeated aliens and the echoes of astonished spectators. Humans had proven themselves, not with brute force, but with ingenuity, courage, and the refusal to follow predictable patterns. Kale's heart swelled with pride. Humans had faced impossible odds and risen. They had survived, adapted, and dominated. And in the vast, endless galaxy, humanity's story was only beginning. Because humans didn't just fight, they excelled. They didn't just survive, they thrived. And now, every corner of the galaxy knew: underestimate humans at your own peril.